There are some things that have got lost in our digitized world in the last 15 years. But the good news is you can recover them. Hello, welcome to this week's Wild Spirits News. My name is Sibylla, and today I'll tell you what we have lost in the last 15 years. Now, far be it from me to say that everything was better and simpler way back when. It's simply not true. Sometimes it's nice to indulge in a little nostalgia, but the danger is that we tend to kind of skate over the not so pleasant things in the past and just look at everything with rose-tinted glasses. I love our world today, the technology we have. But there are some things that we have lost in the process that would have been worth it to be preserved. And your mission today is to learn 2 things that we have lost and how you can reclaim them for yourself. Number 1 is sitting with a problem. This one's a bit hard to spot, so I'm going to illustrate it with an example. When I used to have a problem, I would sit down and think about it and just ponder it and turn it over in my head. I might have cried if it affected me a lot. I may have picked up the phone and phoned a friend to get advice, or even to just vent, just share. And these days, I also sit down and think about it, obviously, but 2 minutes in, I'll be online and Google the problem and look for solutions on online platforms or something and just try to find some way to deal with this. And you would think that's effective, and how is that a bad thing? It's problematic for 2 reasons. The first is that it skips directly into action mode, into the solution, without first acknowledging and sitting with the accompanying emotions. Every problem brings with it an emotional response, and to just try to push that aside doesn't make it go away. It's very important, very healthy, psychologically very healthy, to experience and allow this emotion. Acknowledge it, work through it, live through it. It will pass. And the second reason why this is problematic, the skipping to the solution and the online distraction, is that it deprives you of the very real opportunity to come up with something yourself, to solve this on your own, to arrive at a solution by thinking about it, or again, talking it over with a friend, by just arriving at a solution in a more organic manner, rather than having it prescribed from the outside, from somebody else. Number 2 is called watching the world go by. When I was at university, my best friend and I had a favorite pastime that was sitting in a cafe and looking over the crowds of people. And this was in the middle of town, right? And we would watch the people go by and talk and meet each other and cross the street, and there wasn't even much that was actually happening, but we would sit there for hours, not even talking that much, and just gazing at the world. I would do this on my own as well, when I was in a cafe or in a restaurant, on my own, to just gaze at the world going by. And these days, look around in cafes, people sit there, if they're on their own, but even 2 people sometimes just sit there, and each of them is looking at their phones. And it seems like people whip out their phones everywhere these days, at the bus stop. Even at the supermarket checkout, they immediately dive for the phone and start scrolling. The problem with this is that the brain needs some downtime. It doesn't need to be stimulated and distracted all the time. And if you do these things like this, sitting in a cafe and just gazing at the world, the brain goes into, of course, your brain is always active. It's never inactive, otherwise you're dead. But it's in a relaxed state. It's in a sort of a passive, relaxed mode. You might even get bored. And like I mentioned many times before, boredom is conducive to creativity. So these states, this downtime for the brain, the more passive states, are very conducive to things like creativity and happiness. And you deprive yourself of that if you just fill every moment usually with your phone or with some kind of distraction that will stimulate your brain. Now, these 2 examples are just 2 examples, and you can counteract those. Like I said, you can reclaim these things by consciously breaking the pattern, consciously resisting the urge to dive for your phone or to go online on your computer and to start Googling things and to immediately jump into action or distraction. These are the two things, action and distraction. Just being restful, just not doing anything other than thinking about things, processing it inwardly, and distracting yourself, mostly by online means, is mostly what we do nowadays, can be very beneficial and can make you a lot happier and also a lot more confident in yourself, because you arrive at solutions on your own and you just feel good about yourself. Plus, you have processed the emotions that come with any kind of disturbance in life, and that's a healthy thing to do, and that also brings you emotionally on a much more even keel. I no longer want to live without today's modern technology. I think it's wonderful that we have it. However, learning when not to use it is an important skill that we still need to develop, because it's still the early days of this digitized age. And it is well worth developing these skills for your overall happiness, creativity, the time and the energy you have for your passions, and your overall well-being. And that brings me, as usual, to my question, let me know. How do you stand on all of this? Leave a comment below the video and tell me, how are you dealing with this? Are you online a lot? Do you distract yourself a lot? Do you find that you've changed your habits, especially if you're like me, over 40 or over 50, and have actually consciously experienced times as an adult when these things weren't available, when we didn't have mobile phones and smartphones and all the rest? Let me know what you think of this and whether you might try to consciously counteract these trends the way I suggested it. I'll reply to every comment, I promise. If you would like some more, you should consider joining the community of Wild Spirits by going to wildspiritscoaching.com and filling in that little form. You'll get 1 email per week, 100% spam free, with additional articles and information and recommendations for books and other resources. And sometimes you get exclusive offers that are only for my subscribers that nobody else ever gets to see. So go to wildspiritscoaching.com and sign up, or you can Google Wild Spirits Coaching. That'll get you to the website as well. Thank you for watching.